You're still watching our live coverage of the invitation stroke arrest of the Deputy General Secretary of the main opposition NDC, Koku Anyidoho there. This is Pulse with me, up here. But of course, we're breaking the news. A lot have happened. We'll bring you a lot more analysis as we go along. But as we know, and with those live visuals there in your view, we're looking at what's happening at the police headquarters right now. We have a lot of NDC supporters there. But really the news is that police CID has picked up the Deputy General Secretary of the opposition NDC. Crowds of the party have gathered at the CID headquarters, at the police headquarters, of course. In the meantime, the comments that Mr. Koku Anyidoho made is basically had to do with the build-up to a massive, or what's expected to be a massive demonstration against the U.S.-Ghana Defense Cooperation deal. Well, with the arrest or the invitation that's been made right now, what's next and what are the implications for the demonstration going forward? We'll be telling you some of those things here on this show. Also, 72 hours he led Ebony to Christianity, and 24 hours after he preached at her funeral, his sermon is still being discussed. Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete is my special guest today, but of course our focus for today has to be on what's happening at the police headquarters. Mr. Koku Anyidoho has been picked up. Our correspondent, our reporters are on the ground. Some of them are in the premises of the police headquarters. Some of them are outside, where a lot of the supporters of the NDC have gathered up, and we've been speaking to a lot of people. Earlier you saw Evans Mesa, my colleague there, right from our radio studios, talking us through how it all happened with our correspondent who were at the press center when it happened, where ununiformed men as well as uniformed men were there to pick up Mr. Koku Anyidoho. As far as the NDC is concerned, they're not quite sure why he's been arrested, but us journalists here have picked up information that he's been arrested in connection to the comments he made regarding to some sort of coup, or some sort of what he calls civil coup that should be expected in this country because of what he believes that the rule of the governance of the NPP has been over the years. Very soon we'll be connecting with our correspondent on the ground again, so we bring you up to speed on what exactly is happening. But one of the things that we should know also is what the implications for this will be on tomorrow's, or what was expected to be tomorrow's demonstration. All of these part of the aftermath of the U.S.-Ghana Defense Cooperation deal, and of course it is getting boiled up. Very vexed matter indeed it is. My colleague Kwesi. My colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson is there. Joseph Akable has been there. He was indeed at the press center where there was supposed to be a press conference there. It's supposed to be an alliance, groups of people who have come together in a bid to protest or in a bid to go on a demonstration against the Ghana-US defense deal there. And so we'll be bringing you a lot more of how it all unfolded. Earlier, Evans also spoke to Asiedu Nketia, who apparently had to walk from the press center all the way to the police headquarters where Koku Anyidoho, we're told, is being held. What we've heard from the General Secretary of the party, that Mr. Anyidoho is fine. What we're seeking to know, we'll be speaking to some lawyers as well. What are the implications of this? Now, we've not heard from the police yet, and we've yet to know exactly the basis for the arrest or invitation for this. But of course, you can't delink it from the comments that Mr. Koku Anyidoho made, for which we've played over and over again here on this channel. We'll bring you some graphics as well as to exactly some of the things or the comments that Mr. Koku Anyidoho made in that radio interview that he granted not so long ago. But of course, this is something that's going to keep running. We're making efforts to speak to some lawyers so we can get some description or some breakdown of what the implications will be. Earlier, my colleague Raymond Akwa also went through what the law says and the basis for what someone could, for which someone could be held for treasonable charges. Is that even what we're looking at in the first place? A bit of a skeletal information there, but we'll still be delving into all of those. This is Joy News. your most credible news source, and we're here bringing you all of the information that's ongoing. Very soon, like I said, we'll be getting into polls, who do all of the analysis and the discussions, and we'll also introduce you to my very special guest for today, who is Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete. Please stay with us. We see Parker trying to establish a quiet atmosphere so he can conduct some interviews. But we'll be talking to some lawyers. One of them is Mahama Yariga, who's also a member of parliament and a leading member of the NDC, to find out what's happening there. As we wait to get Kwesi Parker Wilson to give us that particular interview.